I found is that sometimes, I choose intentionally the words as a way to embody my consciousness. Yes.
Yes.
And then sometimes I don't have access to the consciousness, and that's many times the case, right? Because we are all learning to liberate ourselves. And when I don't have access to the consciousness and the clarity, I can use language and words.
Yes.
That reflect the consciousness, and they will take me there.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's it's example, just a small example from NVC. You can replace I have to with I choose to.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. And even if you don't have the inner experience of connection to choice at that moment, through using that language, it reminds you that you have choice.
Yeah.
Then you can reclaim your choice, and the next thing that happens, you're there. Yes.
Yeah.
With practice more and more. And so that's one of the most powerful things that I've experienced with this practice. Because if you remember, we started with love, and I said, I cannot love, I don't know how to love. But then if I use words and thoughts and actions that are aligned with the principles of love, then then the next thing that happens, the love is arising.
Yeah.
And emerging. Yes.
Yeah. I can't just make it up in my head in a way. What I'm hearing is that there is a lot of value to really actively speaking, doing, allowing the external world to even invite the internal world to show up in a way. And
yes,
sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to just say that there are studies about how language shapes consciousness. For sure, that's a huge
right.
And then there's also this question. I mean, to me, NVC has been this. What I really cherish about it is language could be used to get things done and to put things into boxes and tell us this is the right thing and this is the wrong thing, and in this sort of not really protective but to serve needs like safety and order, and on the other hand, I what I see is NVC kind of repurposes language towards connection. And so sometimes the language itself, yes, will draw me back to my connection or my the life inside of me and inside of you.
Yeah, that's why many times I use empathy, not necessarily to bring relief or healing for the other person, but to open my own heart.
For sure.
Yes. I mean, it's a both end, but many times, especially when I have a challenge, I know, now it's the moment to shift to empathy, because that will give me the relief of reclaiming the other person's humanity.
Yeah.
And
I'm guessing when the other person sees that in you, it would also reflect in them, because it's when this I've had tangible experiences with this, with people who are very angry and at the edge of violence and stuff, and I'm not sure that I showed up believing that I had that that I don't know if in that moment I knew for sure that there was if I remembered that yes, we are all human beings, because it takes a lot of effort to remember that in intense violent situations, and at the same time the language, I think, drew me back in a way. And then the moment I was recognizing, even just verbally, but also in my body, recognizing that the other comes from a human space, I think it's almost like a call to like a sort of a, I don't know if a call to action exactly, but it's like a knock on the door for the other person. Like, I'm here, I'm knocking on the door of your humanity. I'm here looking for you. Would you like to show up? And it's very rare that someone doesn't want to answer that.
Yes. There is a beautiful quote from Goethe, I believe, about this, that I heard Viktor Frankl quoting. And he says, if you treat, or you can put the word speak, if you treat man as he is, he becomes worse. If you treat man as he can and ought to be, he becomes what he can and ought to be.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big principle of of this practice of nonviolence that you assume the best, you assume trust, you assume innocence, you assume goodwill, and then you choose language and action that reflect that. And that becomes a huge invitation. Why? Again, because our essence is that. And that becomes a reminder, like you said, like a wake-up call. Hey, I don't enjoy hurting other people, really. That's the huge power, I think, of nonviolence.
I don't enjoy
it. Reminds us.
And I see that when I speak like this, or when I show up like this, there is, this scare that there is something human in the other person, like fear or sadness or frustration, and even seeing that can be just such a, like a wake-up call. It's
right. Yes. And I want to acknowledge that it's very difficult. We are celebrating in the US this weekend. Today, I think tomorrow is the day of Martin Luther King.
Yes.
And so you can see some examples of people who took this really to a radical point. And with the atrocities. How do you say this word? I don't think I said it correctly.
I think atrocities.
Yes, that are happening in the world. I wouldn't judge or sometimes even ask people to be able to do it. To do it. Yes. I think it has to be a choice, a personal choice, where I truly understand how it empowers me, and how it serves my purpose.
I mean, it's not something there's no should behind this invitation.
Yes.
It's just
right.